Hello there again my friends, this is the boy and his dog, and welcome to the channel where my sole mission is to play and review every game released on the Evercade, old and new. Today we are delving into the Indie Heroes 2 collection with the last title that was part of the amazing Game of the Month service, Gelatinous, Humanity Lost. Let's take a butcher's. After locating a legendary crystal that promises eternal life, you will turn into a gelatinous blob and fall into the depths of an ancient temple. You'll need to master your new slimy form and learn new abilities. Perhaps you might even regain your humanity somewhere in this mysterious, forgotten monument. Gelatinous Humanity Lost is a Game Boy style indie platformer developed by John Rue of Quest Arrest fame and released in 2022. If you would like to play Quest Arrest, it is also on the Evercade as part of the Indie Heroes Collection 1. Definitely worth a look, as it's very different from this. Gelatinous is basically Baubles' bitch sister, and I'm kinda here for it. If you remember and like that game from the Morph Cat Games collection, then you should feel sort of at home here. I say sort of as I know there are some elements that may put a few off this title. It's a bit rough around the edges, nothing game breaking, just some oddities like your blobby self not lining up with walls etc when you're sliming up them, and some collision detection with enemies is a bit sus. Controls can be a little annoying at first, but you do acclimatise. The jump can be a bit of a bugger too. It's also tough. It does have a save system, but you would be a fool or edgy as fuck if you didn't use the Evercade save states to their full advantage. Honestly, while you are learning this game solely on its own terms, frustrations can and will ooze from you copious amounts. So be kind to yourself and use those save states. You hear? You begin as a pretty useless blob. You can roll out and slime up walls and partially cross the ceilings. And that's about it. But as you explore, you gain new abilities. The first is Jump, which will take a hot minute to get used to. Now you have the power to reach ledges and switches you couldn't, and can jump over and avoid newly revealed enemies. But we don't just want to avoid enemies, do we? We want to twat the buggers. Thankfully, later abilities allow you to stretch out a bit of your blobby self and whip the feckers. Lovely. The area of tag is pretty small though, and many frustrating deaths will come from learning time and distance with different enemies, and the fact that some can't be killed by it at all. Thankfully, a further upgrade will give you sexy projectiles, which will make short work of most of the arses you faced to this point. You will briefly feel empowered before the game once again decides to feck with you. There are a couple of eyeball related bosses to face in your quest, and at first they can seem a bit of a bother, as there is no indication of what to do, but once you twig they are probably some of the easiest sections in the game. Before you are done with the game, there are some really tricky sections, annoying tiny platforms with annoyingly unkillable enemies, or ones that track you from above or beneath so you can't get a shot in to kill them. You also get to enjoy a log river ride of death and experience being eaten by a beastie and then explore his insides. We'll call him Sydney. Yes, this game is a rough nasty bitch at the best of times, but it just made me more determined to beat it. The game isn't actually that long, but there's a lot of cool ideas throughout, constantly changing and adding new challenges the moment you think you got it sussed. Definitely not for everyone, but if you dig it, and I dug it. Even it made me shout increasingly convoluted and unique profanities the longer I played. And if you made it here to the end of the video, thank you ever so much for joining me. Leave a thumbs up or a comment if you'd like. Either way, I'm just chuffed you picked your head in to take a gander. As always, I hope you have an awesome day, my friends. Be seeing you.